4 years ago today, I was staring outside of my bedroom window in my mom's apartment, sobbing because I couldn't get out of bed. It was a super sunny day in Canada. Summer was just starting, and Canadian summers are my favorite because my friends and I would spend them drinking on patios, having huge backyard parties, and just loving life. But this summer was going to mark the change of an entirely different reality for me. My life had just taken an unexpected and devastating turn. I found myself bedridden with chronic health conditions no doctor could diagnose me with. They were debilitating. I couldn't walk on my own. I couldn't eat on my own. Every single day, I slipped further into a depression. Everything I planned to do after graduating university was put on an indefinite hold. I moved back home with my parents, and I was completely broke, now at the mercy of this mysterious illness. Isolation became the only constant in my life. The friends I thought would support me vanished because they didn't get anything from the sick version of me. Their absence was obviously extremely devastating, and now I was forced to face this harsh reality that had been lingering and whispering in my ear, but now there was no question that these friendships were just shallow and conditional. I spent an entire year in bed. No words can describe the level of misery and depression I was in. I had no friends, I had no life, I had no hope, I had nothing to my name. A year into this dark period, I finally received a diagnosis from doctors after going to countless appointments, countless tests, and I finally realized this was not terminal because I had just spent an entire year believing I was literally dying and I was sick and this was going to be the end for me. For the first time in a year, I had felt a spark of optimism, a little bit of hope, because I knew it wasn't terminal and I knew I could start regaining my life. Every single day from that moment on, I spent completely changing my life. I kicked the old habits that caused me to get extremely sick: binge drinking, partying, no exercise, junk food, smoking weed, smoking cigarettes. Basically just kicked that entire party girl lifestyle to the curb. I took my health so seriously. I spent hours a day researching how to bring my body back to life, how to heal myself holistically. I decided to not pursue law, the degree I had just spent 5 years getting and $60,000 in student loan debt over. I began my business and I poured every ounce of my energy into this. So for 2 years straight, I spent every single hour I felt good working on my business. I built up to working 8 hours a day, but despite all this hard work, I was literally seeing no growth, no movement. Blood, sweat, and tears went into my business, but I saw zero financial return. My parents were like, what the heck is this girl doing? They're trying to get me to get a regular job, and I'm like, no, and I almost used my illness as an excuse to be like, but I can't because I feel really sick, which now I know was a blessing in disguise. Otherwise, I would have had to listen to my Indian parents and go and get a regular job. Now fast forward to last year, I learned some incredibly transformative things that had nothing to do with business, and my entire life changed. My business took off, my personal life did a 180. I was no longer this controlling, bitter, angry person who was bedridden, who was sick, who was constantly battling these really unpleasant thoughts. 4 years ago, I couldn't even get out of bed. I had no life, I had no hope, and now I am in my own apartment that I paid for in full in a country that's been on my vision board for over 2 years. If you want to know the 12 laws I practiced and still practice religiously to transform my entire life in the last 4 years, you are going to want to keep on watching, and especially until the end, because the last one is the most powerful. Law number 1 is to stop oversharing and just take quiet action. Listen, I get it. We all want to share everything great that's happening in our life, but understand the difference between sharing an accomplishment and sharing a dream. When you share an accomplishment, you're sharing something that's already done and dusted. There's no way any energetic interference can happen from somebody that you've told. No spitefulness, no jealousy, no envy, no like side eye, can you really do it? Can she really do it? it's already done. You're just sharing that and hoping they bask in that enjoyment with you. When you share a dream, you are inviting monitoring energy to interfere with it. You're gonna get the side eye, you're gonna get opinions that you don't really want, that might plant seeds in your head about doubt and can I really do this, and fear. And you might say, Vikita, I'm telling the closest people around me, baby girl, the closest people around you can be your biggest haters. And you won't know that until you start telling people things around you and all of a sudden that opportunity flops. It doesn't go through. So only share things that are already done and dusted, that you can be like, hey girl, check this out. Look what I did. When I was starting my business, I told you in the beginning, I spent 3 years hustling, grinding, blood, sweat, and tears into this baby with no return. Because every single time I told one of my parents something, I just got off this really great sales call and this girl seemed super excited to get into my coaching program. And then she would be like, oh, it's not really time for me. I don't feel connected to this. And then she would bail. But she was literally about to send the payment. So it's not that they're wishing anything on you, it's that your dreams can be so big for people to comprehend that in their eyes, it doesn't seem realistic, and that energy can start to interfere with your unrealistic, delusional dreams. So only take action in silence, only reveal your blessings and accomplishments once they're already done and once you're already living it. And also just remember that instead of talking about all your stuff, just let people see. For me, for example, I didn't share anything about what I was doing. I just let people see. I bought my plane ticket and I said, Dad, I'm moving to England. And he was like, what? And I was like, I'm moving. Like, I am doing this thing and now I'm here, I paid for my apartment in full. My entire family thought I was an absolute nut job for starting my own business, specifically my dad. He's typical Indian dad, 9 to 5, that's the only way, pursue law, you need stability, all of that. And I told him, no, I ain't doing that. But he looked at me crazy. My mom was looking at me like, girl, I support you, but I'm not seeing anything happen here. Like 3 years in the making, should we be giving this up? People were looking at me crazy. And so I decided to stop telling them things and just start showing them. And now they see me and they see all the good stuff and all the blessings that I've been working towards. And now they're like, okay, we got you. Now we get it. Like my dad is now all of a sudden believing me when I say you can manifest anything you want. He's like, oh my God, you're so good at manifestation. Meanwhile, before he was like, what the heck is this girl talking about? When you move in silence, when you stop sharing every little thing in your life, you start creating distance between you, the thing you want, and the energy that can spoil it. You don't want your beautiful energy of delusion and like, oh my God, anything is possible to be spoiled by energy that's trying to bring you down into reality. And another thing about sharing vital pieces of information about what you're doing and these moves that you're making is you could be telling somebody in your inner circle that is a wolf in sheep's clothing. And now you have just given your biggest hater all this information they need to go against you. You share something you really want to do, or a car you really want to buy, or this beautiful home you're trying to get, or this guy you're talking to. Now all of a sudden your friend's cozying up to this guy. Now your friend also wants that dream car of yours. Now she's trying to compete with you to see who gets it first. Just weird stuff like that. You don't want to invite any of that into your life. So just keep it quiet, keep it cute, and just take silent action and let people observe your blessings and observe the glow up. Okay, that's the biggest thing. Number 2 is skills and building a side hustle. This is such an important thing, and this obviously completely transformed my financial situation because now I have multiple streams of income, and that is just literally the biggest blessing of my life. With that being said, today's video is sponsored by Skillshare. I have been using Skillshare since November, and I have taken so many classes on so many different things, but one in particular has been a game changer, and that is the class I took from Ali Abdal, which is learning how to use Notion. Because of this class, I've been practicing to make my own templates on Notion to sell, and that adds another stream of income in my business. Learning how to use Notion, because Notion is a little bit tricky, is honestly such a huge game changer for me, because then I build a template for myself, I create a Notion for myself, and then I can share it with you. And if you want to track your life or track different things in your life the way that I do using my templates, it's another digital product that I can sell. Entire life obviously changed because my finances changed. And of course, I credit that to spending my time learning high income skills that will translate into a third, fourth, fifth stream of income for myself. And that's why I love Skillshare, because they make it so easy. Skillshare is the largest online learning community with thousands of classes led by industry pros, from design, from productivity, from drawing, and so much more. Skillshare really is the spot to learn and begin your side hustle journey, because, for example, they have an amazing class on making YouTube videos. So you could spend your summer making a channel, establishing yourself, learning how to create, shoot, and film, and all of that, and you could be making money on YouTube by the time fall rolls around. Starting a new skill or side hustle this summer literally is the best thing you can do for yourself to set yourself up for success in the next coming months, and you have no excuses with Skillshare. To get started today, use a link in my description box. The first 500 people to use my link will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Again, that link is in my description box, and thank you so much, Skillshare, for sponsoring today's video. Law number 3 is you will never regret what you didn't say. This right here has been an absolute game changer for me, somebody who used to love having the last word, love making sure people knew what they were doing wrong. More often than not, it is in your best interest and my best interest to just stay silent. And I had to learn this after having big fights with people that I love. My brother and I, we didn't speak for almost a year because certain things I would just need to say that did not need to be said. Especially as somebody who is talkative, I do like to talk, but learning the contrast of being a talker has been an amazing skill to put in my toolbox. The way this law also helps so much when you feel triggered in situations. Trust me when I say there is no point for you to get bent out of shape trying to convince somebody of your perspective, trying to convince them that you're right, and trying to prove your point all the time. Just stay silent, zip it up. Number 4 is faith over feelings. Surrender, surrender, surrender. When we have feelings about something, we often go to control because we need to satisfy those feelings. Having those feelings of, is it gonna work out for me? Is it gonna happen? How long? I'm trying to manifest this thing, but I don't see it happening. Those are all feelings of anxiety and desperation and obsession over something, because we believe that we need this thing to have this certain feeling or this outcome satisfied. But when you just surrender into this knowing of, I have everything I need. I have clean drinking water. I have food on my table every single night. I have a bed to sleep in every single evening. I have a couch. I have a TV. I have loved ones. I have all of my needs met. Anything else is just a want. I want that thing. It would be so nice to have that thing, but I don't need it. So I can surrender to the obsession and to these extreme feelings of like, oh my God, I just want it so badly. Life would be so much better with that thing. That might be the case, but just have faith that once I set my sights on this thing, it's mine. I don't need to stress about how, when, or where it's gonna come from. I just know that it is going to be mine, but everything I need is already here. Practicing gratitude every single day. Make sure you have a really solid protocol or practice that you can come back to in times where your feelings are taking over, where your thoughts and emotions are taking over, and you need to snap back into faith and surrender. Number 5, self-awareness and accountability. Please, for the love of God, we gotta have more people with self-awareness and accountability. We can't be in victimhood. I get so many comments from women who come across my videos and they just go off on these monologues about why they are special and why they cannot have that thing, why they are just so unique that it could not happen for them. Being in that mode is not going to help you because you're reaffirming the story that you don't want to live anymore. There's so many comments of women on my dating videos that tell me, well, he's a narcissist. And this doesn't apply to women dating narcissists. But you have to remember, like, why are you in a relationship with a narcissist? You have to remember that what you don't like, you are engaging in some form. The men that you are dating or that you're married to who you hate, you can't just blame them. You're engaging in that behavior. The friends you don't like, you're engaging with them. The things in your life that you hate, being broke, being depressed, being sad, you are engaging with those things. And I understand it's easier said than done. I have been depressed for a long period of time in my life, in my university days, in my high school days, and just 4 years ago when I was extremely sick. But the only person that's gonna change it is you. My parents were telling me, get out of bed, and I was like, you don't understand what I'm going through. Until I realized I'm the only one who can change this. I have to not identify as being a sick person that's bedridden. The more time you spend waiting for people to take their accountability, the more you're gonna prolong the life of your dreams. Because once you take accountability, you just take back all your power. Like, all of this power just comes running back to you and gets ingested into you. And now that is what you are taking life on with. You have all of this power. You're like, okay, cool. Finances suck. I can change this. I can do something about this. Dating life sucks. I can do something about this. Health sucks. I can do something about this. There's something that you can do for every area of your life that you think sucks, but that plan can only unravel and unfold once you start taking accountability and stop blaming people for everything that goes wrong in your life. Stop blaming the guy. Stop blaming the job. Stop blaming the boss. This one is really the basis of my entire YouTube channel, so if you want more on this, just go watch any other video, but it's quite self-explanatory. Stop blaming other people. Take accountability, and remember that the things you engage with are also your responsibility. Law number 6 is a healthy lifestyle. Of course, this one was transformative in my journey, and it will be transformative for you. When you lack clarity, when you lack focus, when you lack productivity, it all comes down to what you're putting in your body and what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. Your life is an accumulation of how you spend every second of your day. The habits that you have, the routines you have, the systems that you have in place. Are you doing things every single day that make you feel worse or make you feel better? Now, you're gonna build your healthy lifestyle to suit you, but some things that I do is I have a morning protocol, I have an evening protocol, I have a knockout deep sleep protocol, I have a Sunday protocol. I have so many things in place in my life, systems that have truly changed my life and contribute to my overall healthy lifestyle and help me continue and maintain my healthy lifestyle without much effort, because I know exactly what I need to do to maintain this lifestyle. Overall, this is just you really taking back control of your life, getting your diet in check, getting your fitness in check, making sure your environment is clean, and just really having a healthy lifestyle. If you want more on this, follow me on Instagram, because that's where I'm gonna be talking about what I eat every single day, the supplements I take. Law number 7 is having a bulletproof routine. This kind of goes off the previous law, but it's more talking about just things that I know I have to do every single day and making sure I get those things done. Those are the things that contribute to moving the needle in every area of my life every single day. Specifically in my business, I have to do certain things every single day to move the needle. I film content, I write scripts, I research content, I edit, I do all of that. I have a membership, the Feminine Protocol. All of these things I call moving the needle tasks. So they are things that contribute to progressing my business and growing it. So without a fail, I have to do those things every single day. Having this bulletproof routine will help you balance the fun and the play. My work is my play as well. Like, work is not work to me. It's so fun and it makes me so excited getting up every single day. But what I mean is like having that personal life, right? So going out, going on solo dates, meeting up with family. I still have yet to make friends in England, so don't have any friends yet. Gonna get there, don't worry. But just making sure that you have this routine in place so that you don't feel guilty about having fun and going out for dinner and enjoying with your friends and family. You wanna make sure that your routine is solid, that moves the needle in your life. This is how you're going to balance your masculine and feminine energy, so you don't feel like you're always chasing your tail trying to work out and trying to balance your life and trying to be consistent with certain things, trying to be consistent with your healthy habits. Law number 8 is communication. Working on my communication has truly changed my life and changed the relationships in my life. I used to be the type of person that everyone would literally be scared of me because I would just like fly off the handle at the drop of a hat. Like if somebody said something to me, I would be very, very reactive rather than responsive. Like we're not having a conversation. I'm just going off of what I'm feeling and I feel annoyed right now. So I'm gonna let you know. And that never served me. I would get into huge fights, especially when I was going through my illness. I was living with my mom. It was obviously COVID and we were just not getting along. It was very, very tumultuous. But again, it had to do with me and how I was communicating. Because if you're communicating in a way that makes people feel defensive, like they have to defend themselves, you are not gonna have a productive conversation. Just remember that when you're communicating with people, you're not ever trying to make them feel bad about themselves or make them feel less than. And that takes me to law number 9. My truth isn't fact. I know we all want to believe that our perspective, our truth, and our way of viewing things is the only way and is the way that it should be, but it's just truthfully not. And when we can go into conversations and understand that this is just not the case, we do less of a job trying to convince people and prove our point, and we do more of trying to have a conversation where I'm being understood and that person's being understood by me, and we're all getting along. The intention behind communicating should be not to make somebody feel bad about themselves. For me, back in the day, I did have a big issue with making people just aware of everything I was thinking, whether or not that would hurt their feelings. I thought that that was my truth. I thought it was authentic to me to just say everything on my mind, but I didn't realize how it was making other people feel. So now when I communicate with people and my loved ones, I make sure to go into it with tact in a way that'll just make them hear me rather than make them feel like crap. It doesn't have to be one or the other, you being heard and them being hurt. It can be you can still be heard without hurting them. Law number 10, leader energy. Stop being a follower. Authenticity is not caring about people's opinions and what they think of you, following your heart, following your intuition, and doing what you are being called to do and feeling okay with that, no matter who agrees with you or not. That is authenticity. When I say leader energy, I mean stop following trends, stop following your friends and every single thing they do. As a brown girl living in a white world, I have struggled my entire life up until just 4 years ago with following people, because being a blonde white girl has been conditioned into me since I was literally in the 3rd grade as being the thing that will get you, any guy will get you all the opportunities, that will get you liked by teachers, that will get you liked by people at school. That is what I was conditioned to believe at a very, very young age, growing up with all white people and only ever having white friends. So for me growing up, I was never in that leader energy. I was just following what people did. And then when I got to university, I remember being like, I don't like being like everybody. I like being unique. That is when I was noticing I was getting attention. When I just started being me. I used to dress very masculine, but very like streetwear vibe. And being that version of myself was authentic to me at that time. And that authenticity is what drew people to me. And so that is where my magnetism started to develop. When I started saying, you know what, I'm so over trying to fit in. I cut my hair to a bob. Nobody had ever done that. Long hair was in. So drop the follower energy and just start being a leader. Embody that main character energy and you will see your life transform. Okay, I just realized that number 11 was you're not a victim, but we already kind of went over that. So I'm just going to go straight into number 12, which is what feeds them feeds you. What does this mean? This means your inner circle is the reflection of who you are and who you're going to be. This means that whatever your friends are doing, no matter how much you are on your journey or how much you're taking different steps in your life and you're having different habits, no matter what, if you go to the gym and you have the most amazing day ever and then you go hang out with your girlfriends and they start gossiping and they start comparing themselves to other girls and they start talking about how insecure they are and how they're so ugly and they're fat, that is going to indirectly feed you. Just because you're not actively with your own hands picking it up and putting it in your mouth does not mean it doesn't affect you and it's not going to affect you. What your friends discuss, what your friends talk about, their mindsets, how they view things, how they view certain people will directly affect you. When I went out with my friends, they got blackout drunk, they were smoking their vapes, they were doing what we used to do in university, and that's totally fine for them. Like, that was not their lifestyle, but I just knew in that moment that is still feeding them, and if I continue to hang out with them, it is going to feed me. We are going to continue talking about the girls from our hometown and who they're dating, and ew, he's so gross, and how could she be with him, and how could he be with her. I no longer wanted to be a part of any of that stuff. I had to cut that entire life off because I needed to start a new one, and I could not be in between two lives. I knew the life that I wanted, the one that I live right now, and I knew the life that I was living and I had lived for my entire life. So I had to make that choice, and I then got to decide what feeds me. So I'm not telling you to be a savage like me and go snipping all 20 of your friends off, but I'm just telling you to always remember that what feeds them is gonna feed you, and really ask yourself and evaluate if they're feeding the life that you want. Remember to not beat yourself up over not getting this right overnight. These are laws that I have continued to practice, and now I'm just in that maintaining phase because I've completely changed my life, and now I just maintain it with these laws. But when I was first starting out 4 years ago, these were things that I had to actively work on. Just try and get better every single day. As long as you are self-aware and accountable, you cannot go wrong. If you're feeling inspired and want to take your learning to the next level, watch this video next.